Hello everyone, welcome to NLG Level 1 English class. This is day 1 of Level 1. So I hope that everyone who's supposed to take this class is already here. And if you're new here, this is your first time taking an NLG class, then welcome. And if you're already in the Level 1, you're still in Level 1 and you're here to revise, then that is wonderful as well. Just to clarify that this class is for Level 1 participant only, because it will include Level 1 energy activations. So if anyone here who's in Level 2, 3, and 4, then you're welcome to tune in, but please don't receive the energy activation, because you certainly should stay at the class level that you've been activated. Okay, so before our class starts, I'd like to kindly remind everyone that we would really appreciate it if you can register before you come into class. Yes, this class is live on our pages, which are Facebook and YouTube. So of course, everyone can join. But it would be of great help if you can register so that we can be more informed. We know that who's attending, who's interested in our program. And from there, it's great feedback for us to improve our program as we go, so that you can have better quality programs to attend. So if you haven't registered, then that is fine. You can always find the registration link on our Facebook page, as well as our Telegram groups. And you can register after this first session. Okay, so I hope that everyone is here, and I'll just do a little sound check. Okay, so I think that the sounds is okay, that everyone can hear me nice and clear. And don't forget to like and follow our Facebook page, NLG Energy University. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel, which goes by the same name, as well as our website, nlgeu.com. And later on, I will show you our Telegram group's QR code. And that is mainly the space where you can ask questions, you can get updated with announcements and posts. So basically for this Level 1, there will be 2 sessions. And remember that you need to attend both to be considered fully complete Level 1. So it will be today and tomorrow at the same time. So our classes start at 8 a.m. PDT, that is California time. And the schedule has been posted on Facebook, as well as our Telegram group. So you can have a look at the schedule and convert it into your own time zone. All right, so if you're new here, I'll just do a little self-introduction. My name is Isabella Ha, and I will be your NLG Level 1 and 2 English instructor for the classes for Level 1 and 2 in August. I am Vietnamese, but I did my study in Australia for quite some time. And then I started with NLG as a practitioner, like many of you here, starting from Level 1 all the way to Level 5 now. And I started with NLG since the end of 2021. I got to attend the first Level 5 class, the very first one of NLG in July this year, and the experience was really amazing. So as your NLG instructor, what I'll do is, of course, I'll present you with a lot of information, and I will help to also activate your brain frequency, your stem cells to match with your current energy level. And from there, as you get to understand the theory, the basic information of NLG, you can then put it into practice with the activation that you receive. And only if you do receive the activations, remember that here at NLG, as a method, it is really important for you to receive the energy activation as you go, so that you can utilize the energy frequency accordingly. Now, I know that everyone here might come from many different countries and backgrounds, so let me just put it out there that you can just address me by my first name, which is Isabella, and that is totally fine. All right, so let's dive into the class content, just a little bit of an introduction about energy. Many of you here probably have been recommended by your friends and family, and you've heard about energy maybe just a little bit, and you become interested, and maybe that's why you're here. Let me just give you a basic introduction, some really basic information of energy. So energy is a practice-based method, and in which when you do it, you can be benefited in many different aspects. So for example, your health, which you may feel some improvements or differences, transformation as you participate throughout these classes. Now, other than that, you can also apply energy to many fields in life. Currently, energy has 5 class levels, from level 1 to level 5. And in order to proceed to the next class, you have to fully complete the previous class. So for example, to participate in level 2, you have to complete level 1, which consists of 2 sessions. And then level 2 consists of 1 session. And of course, as you go on with this session, your energy frequency will get upgraded. And then as you go to higher class levels, the number of sessions increase. So for example, in level 3, there'll be 3 sessions. And then level 4, that'll be 5 sessions. And as you get to level 5, that will be 13 sessions. Now, generally, level 1 and 2 can be completed online, much like what we're doing now. And level 3, 4, 5 are generally completed in person, meaning that you will have to go to a venue where the event takes place and you will complete the class there. There has been occasions where level 3 can be done online, but that is only available when such information is specified in our announcement. For example, in June and July, we actually had 2 level 3 classes. Mr. Liz approved for them to be attended online. So that was great for many of you around the world. And when that happened, when we do have an online class, we'll inform you very clearly. Otherwise, it would just be an in-person class. And as a matter of fact, I will show you these slides so that you can have a look here as well. Okay, so I hope that you can see the screen here. So I just explain as I go and show you these slides, so that is a nice little summary for you to have a look at. Now, children as young as 8 years old to 12 years old can also participate in energy classes, of course, with parental supervision. And it requires that both parents must be energy participants so that you're both on board to supervise your children's practice progress. Or else, let's say if they don't do it correctly, if they come in to the method and then they don't really understand what it is about, they might get really frustrated, bored, and unmotivated. And gradually they will lose their interest, which could be an issue if they want to come back in the future. Because they do need to feel motivated, they do need to understand what this method is about for them to achieve results and for them to make the most out of this method. So just keep that in mind if you intend to have your children joining the program. Now, other than these 5 class levels, there are also 3 very special programs for you to join later on if you're interested. So the first one is to apply energy to agriculture, forestry, and fishery. And this will benefit, of course, farmers and beyond, those who work in the area, those who have been working with these products to increase productivity, etc. And then the second program is where we apply energy to assist couples to have very intelligent, healthy, beautiful baby, even for those with infertility concerns. So there has been cases, if you've been following our energy program, you know that there's been cases where people share about their experiences after coming to NLG and the benefits that they got out of it regarding this matter. Now, both of these programs, the one where you apply energy to agriculture and to assist couples to have a baby, both of these programs requires participants to have fully completed level 3 or above. And in particular, the second program, which is about helping couple, require both partners to participate to maximize potential outcomes. And then the third program that we currently have is the instructor training program, which is very closely selected by Mr. Lee himself. In order to participate in that program, you have to complete level 4 or above. So these are some of the basic information about NLG. And of course, at the bottom there, you will see link to our websites. Now, just note that NLG is a practice-based method. And what that means is that you certainly need to practice it every day with quality and consistency. It can be very beneficial for your health, and that is some of the first thing that you will see. For a lot of people, that's the first benefit that they will see. However, NLG is not an alternative treatment and should not replace your current medical treatment. So if you have a condition, you should continue with your treatment plans as consulted with your doctors, and you can practice NLG alongside as a separate thing. And as you practice NLG, if you feel any difference, improvements, then you can inform your doctors about that. So then if needed, they can adjust and continue to provide you with the most appropriate treatment plans. But do not change your treatment plans by yourself. Always consult with a doctor. And just note that NLG is not an alternative treatment. So the best way to keep yourself posted on our announcements and class events is by following our Facebook page and YouTube channel, as well as our website. And if you need to double check anything, if you have any questions, then you can certainly contact us by our official pages. Also, energy is not political or religious. Be mindful about that when you share information about NLG and when you're attending class. Whatever it is that we're sharing, it is not for political or religious purposes. And as you participate in these classes, level 1 and 2, the majority of people, as I've said, have experienced various degree of health improvements. And as you get to a high class level, Mr. Lee will share with you more about the other projects that we mentioned just now. Okay, so Mr. Lee used to teach level 1 and 2 himself, and then come along our instructors like myself, who has been helping him with level 1 and 2, sharing these great informations and method with the community. But I'd like to spend just a few minutes to give a short introduction about Mr. Lee, the founder of NLG. So his full name is Lee Văn Phúc, and he was born in Bien Hoa Province, which is now Đông Nam Province of Vietnam. At the age of 22, he joined his family, moved to the United States, and then he got a great chance to learn about NLG from a very special masters. And he will probably mention that in a higher class level. And then he has been applying NLG to himself ever since, after obtaining really amazing results. Then he shared it with other people. And he put together many NLG classes to a lot of people's support and appreciation. And of course, at the start of 2020, he went to Vietnam, and together with NLG volunteers, they start to, set up a lot of different classes all the way until now. And then in 2021, he returned to the United States and continued to set up more classes online and offline. Although he has been teaching this method to many, many people, he wishes that no one would need to address him as a teacher or master. He is simply Mr. Lay, or in Vietnamese, a lot of us call him Uncle Phúc, Chu Phúc, much like a relative, much like when you address a family relative. So that's that on our founder. And before we dive into the class content, I do have some class recommendation for everyone. Okay, and we'll go through it very quickly, and I would only go through it once. Tomorrow in our second session of level 1, I will not go through these anymore. Okay, so these are some class recommendations for you. So please arrange to attend the course on time to receive the activations fully. Being on time also shows respect for the instructor and everyone in the class. Also, it will help avoid network congestion when too many people decide to join at the same time. Number 2, choose your study space. Please set up your study space in a quiet place away from distractions during the activation and practice session. Number 3, copyright energy content without our permission is prohibited. Please do not record or distribute our video lecture online without our consent. All online courses will be recorded for tracking purposes on our energy platform. Number 4, you can attend our course by phone, laptop, iPad, etc. Ensure that you check your device before attending our online classes. Let's say internet connection, battery usage, audio quality, etc. And number 5, we will have time for participants to ask questions about the course, formula, and practice recommendations. So please save your question until the end of the session. Okay, so these are some of the notes that I talked about earlier. So NLG Năng Gốc method is provided by the Energy Source University to support anyone seeking assistance from NLG. NLG online courses are completely free. As of the moment, you will notice that you don't have to pay any fees when you come into level 1 and 2. Energy techniques and information is for educational purposes only and cannot be substituted for the advice or care of a medical professional. It does not replace doctors' diagnoses and medical treatment. We recommend that participants consult a doctor before undertaking alternative health improving methods. We will not accept any liability or warranty or not be responsible to any individual if you do not see any improvements. Energy participants are responsible for their current state of health and will need to monitor their progress. Energy participants need to have self-awareness and follow the instruction and formula to achieve desired outcomes. Okay. And a few more notes. Energy, it's not a religion, neither it is a meeting ground for ritual activities. Energy does not advise participants to give up or join any religion or political party. Energy University does not participate in any religion or political institution of any country. Okay, so I hope that makes it very, very clear. And now let's dive into our class content. Okay. I'll just share my screen again. Okay, so you see here on the screen our three logos. So from the left hand side, you have the Cosmic Divine Light logo, and then we have the Energy University logo in the middle, and then we have the Loving Home logo on the right hand side here. So these three logos in this sequence was introduced to us in April 23rd, 2023, which also marks a really, really important day. That is the grand opening of Energy Center here in California. And on that day, Mr. Lee revealed that he's able to unlock the third code and of the Cosmic Divine Light, which is the one on the left-hand side here. And he shared it with us, which results in the perfect white circle at the center of the Cosmic Divine Light logo, representing cosmic light that embraces all beings. And if you've been following us, you will notice that the differences throughout the different period of this Cosmic Divine Light logo. So the first logo, the first version of this started off as Chomdom, in other words, bronze drum, which is a concept that you would be familiar with if you've been listening to the previous level 1 and 2, and you will notice that the center of this Cosmic Divine Light pattern used to have 14 arrays, and then Mr. Lee gradually decoded to unlock the energy within. And as you get to level 3, he will certainly explain a little bit further about that. And from there, from 14 array, then it changes into the Cosmic Divine Light. We no longer call it Chomdom, but we call it Cosmic Divine Light, which is slightly different in the middle compared to now. It has a star. And then this is the latest version, and there's only a perfect circle representing light in the middle, as you can see here. And contained within this logo, this pattern here, are great lessons and the energy source that we can then take it to practice at the Energy University. So the one in the middle here, the university, it's where all that knowledge from Cosmic Divine Light, all of the knowledge and wisdom become, I guess, more visible to the eye, basically from theory into practice. And the energy of Cosmic Divine Light is limitless, which allow us to do all sorts of great things, as I mentioned previously. Now, before, the majority of time, we have been working on our health. And of course, once we experience improvements, the next step is to work on our wisdom. So that comes in, with the with the university logo here in the middle. That's where we actually would put things into practice, and we'll see the results more clearly here. And when I say that we can do a lot of things using this energy, of course, we need to do it in the right way. And you absolutely cannot take this energy to do negative things, because if you do that, then your energy frequency doesn't match with that of the Cosmic Divine Light. The frequency of the Cosmic Divine Light is very, very specific, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in terms of what types of frequency, what sort of things, what sort of characteristic that you'll need when you come in to connect to that energy source. All right, so we have basically the energy or the theory, the wisdom, the knowledge, and then we'll turn it into practice, into things that we can see, that we can use, that we can experience. And then from there, we move to the Loving Home logo, which basically once we're able to go from theory to practice, knowledge to benefits, then that's when we can build and maintain and also support the Loving Home logo on the right. So the Loving Home logo portraits a family with parents and children, and all of them have a very special connection with one another, representing genuine love and bond. You'll notice that there's 13 heartbeats contained within this logo, representing 12 months in a year, and the 13th heartbeat indicates humanity energy connection to the outer space civilization. And if you're new here, then you might ask, okay, so what outer space civilization means, and I'll answer that question briefly in a moment. And of course, in order for us to understand all of this and to put them into practice, we need the key to guide us there. So let's talk about that now. Okay, so I'll share another screen here. So cosmic divide light will bring us a lot of benefits, as I shared with you earlier, that could be beyond our imagination, things that perhaps we haven't been mindful of, that we didn't think was possible before. But it's necessary to learn about this energy to solve the problems that we're dealing with. And contained within this great resource is the wisdom energy. So two questions that you might ask is that, so number one, how can we make sense of the outer space civilization? What is it? And number two, where does this energy source comes from? So at this foundation level, I will just give you a pretty simple explanation to prepare you, while not trying to overwhelm you when you try to process this information and continue with the high class levels. So the outer space civilization, you can just visualize that it's like a place, it's like a country that is very far away, that is very advanced, where the beings who live there, who exist there, they do so in a very sophisticated form, with a very sophisticated form of wisdom, technology, science, virtues, etc. And everything about them is more advanced than us. And they're very willing and they're very happy to assist us with the way that we live our life, that we continue on with our evolution. With our evolution cycle, that is. And so they have more than enough resources to support us. And at this foundation level, I will leave it at that, okay? So that you don't have to go, too in depth into it. And what's really important right now is to get the basic information. So this energy source has existed for a very long time. It has been woven into our lives long, long ago. But the thing is, we might ask ourselves which frequency of this energy that we can use, because there's many different levels, many different frequency that are equivalent. And I guess that you can imagine it as, let's say when you go into a school system and you have primary school level, high school level, university level, etc. So let's visualize it that way. When it comes to this energy source, and whichever frequency that you approach, there's a complete that's a really great advantage for yourself, for your community, and for your country. And we approach these valuable energy source to utilize this energy better, and to effectively solve the three big problems that we've been dealing with. And we'll talk about those three challenges in a minute. But if you have a look here, this will be our class content for level 1 and 2. So we'll talk about energy source, and of course the benefits of this method. Then we'll do activation. And it's really, really important that you receive this activation, and that's the only way that you will get to use this energy of this class level. And then what we'll do is, once we get the activation completed, we'll practice energy formula together. And I'll show you how it is done so that when you go home, you can start practicing it. We also talk about the development of energy in Vietnam and globally. And we'll certainly talk a little bit more about energy itself and about receiving it. Okay. So I mentioned the 3 challenges earlier. So let's talk about that and what our mission here at LG is like and what we aim to do. So now that we got this really amazing energy source, the things that we want to do is to help humanity to solve 3 big issues. And of course, as a society, we've been trying to find a solution for these problems, but the outcome has been quite limiting. And the reason why I say that is because you look around you and we still experience these things all the way until now, and we keep going in circles. But if we learn energy together and we understand the effects of energy, the influence that it can make, and we practice together as a community, then hopefully we can gradually solve these issues to increase the success rates when we try to tackle with these problems. And so basically, this is our mission here at NLG. This is what we aim to do with this energy source. And you may think that these issues have nothing to do with you, but we encourage you to also look at this from a more personal perspective. So let's say when we talk about illnesses and diseases, which is something that many of you are dealing with, unfortunately, or maybe you witness someone in your family, someone that you're close with, or maybe a friend who suffer from an illness, and you're trying to find a way to help them to cope or to support them. And so when it comes to the issues of illnesses and diseases, that's pretty straightforward. That is still a problem that we have to face even until today. And when we talk about wars and conflicts, of course, we can look at this matter on a larger scale, but also we can look at conflicts from a more personal perspective. For example, the conflicts that happen in your family, when you say that you're happy, but deep down you're not happy with your family, and the happiness that you experience, it's not whole. It's solely just on the surface, and there's no real connection between you and your loved ones, and that can get you into a pretty messy situation sometimes. Or it could be conflicts within your workplace with your colleagues, or with a good friends that you have had for quite some times. And so conflicts occurs in many different ways, and that could result in misunderstanding, and it could accelerate, and it could exacerbate to a much higher level. And when we talk about poverty and hunger from a more personal perspective, is also about difficulties for many people when they try to earn money to satisfy basic needs, to feed their family, to ensure a stable source of income, which is unfortunately still an ongoing problem for many families around the world, for a lot of people, even for young people. And we still see a lot of homeless people on the street every day, even in very developed countries. So how do we go about, resolving these issues? And what we're trying to share with you here is that we can use this energy to solve these issues. But there are certain keys that you need to meet in order for you to connect to this energy. And from there, I'll show you later how you can actually use this energy to tackle with these problems. And as you go on with level 1 and 2, and as you listen to more level 1 and 2 content, and you proceed to high class level, you understand the things that you do with this energy source, the formulas that you use can actually help to tackle the 3 issues that we talked about just now. So the elements to have here on the screen, you see here on this yellow line here, is that we need to have genuine moral values, and really keep this in mind, really prioritize this, because when a person is born, they're like a blank canvas, and maybe we already know about moral values. We've been taught about that, but you need to ask the question of, why is it that some people, or unfortunately a lot of people nowadays, still do things deliberately to hurt each other? And of course, that doesn't reflect the values of morality. So why is that? And why is it that some people, they seem kind at the start, and then all of a sudden they change, and you can't really make sense of why that happened? I know some people argue that it's because of environmental factors. And the point is that when their priority of virtues changes, then that would also influence their behaviors. And that's why we recommend that you keep your moral values at heart and prioritize it at all cost. And then we'll also have something that we call the 5 forms of love. Now, before you come into energy, it doesn't matter what you've done, where you've been, whether you show love to others or not, whether you were being mean at some point, or whether you've, maintain your kindness throughout. Once you come into energy, you are encouraged to change, those negative behaviors and to try to foster more positive behaviors. If you've already practiced love and morality, that is excellent. You can certainly refine it further when you come into energy. But if you haven't shown love in proper ways, and this is not a space where we judge, this is a space for you to reflect on yourself, and just ask yourself this question, try to reflect, and then maybe you realize that you need to try a little bit harder, especially now that you're coming to energy. And here at energy, we don't judge you for the things that you've done. What matters is how you're going to move forward from now on, now that you know about the elements that you need to have to get access to the energy source of energy. And so at level 1, it is important to recognize these keys to energy. This is a method, and you might ask, well, what does this have to do with trying to harness the energy source? Well, this is how you can actually get connected. Okay, so energy, for the most part, it's not something that you necessarily see for the majority of us anyway. And so the key is to have these elements here so that you can get connected properly. And for many of you, you will feel it after you get activated. Okay. And when you stick to these key, then it helps you to achieve your goals a lot better and quicker. Your goals in terms of energy connection and the results that you receive. It's about building a good foundation of knowledge, and don't underestimate this beginner level because it's absolutely necessary. Much like building a house, you really need a strong foundation to start with. So since we talk about the 5 forms of love, let's dig a little bit deeper so that you know what they actually are. So you see here, the 5 forms of love include self-love, love for family, love for country, love for humankind, and love for all living things. So these 5 forms of love comes in this very specific sequence, meaning that you should go from the first one, then to the second one, then to the third, so on and so forth. So some of you might ask, how come that self-love is the first thing that we need to refine? Like, shouldn't it be the last one? Shouldn't we put other people before us? But let me just ask you this question. Is that how would you support other people if you don't feel fine? Like if your body and your mind don't feel well, then how do you go about supporting other people? You won't be able to give your 100%, of course. So for example, let's say you have a family, let's say you're a very young person, just starting with energy, and you're a daughter or you're a son, you want to support your family, you want to take care of your parents, and perhaps you Now that you have your own family as well, you want to take care of your partner and your children. But if you don't take care of yourself and at a certain state you felt sick, then of course you're not going to be in a state that's fit to do the things that you want to do. And you probably end up needing medical attention, need other people to take care of you, which is the total opposite of your goal, which is to support your family and your parents. So our body becomes sick because we don't take care of it properly. And for the most part, we don't love it enough, or we don't love it properly. And it could be that you do take care of yourself and you do take care of others, but not consistently. Because when you're happy and you're in a space where you're mindful, then you do take care of yourself and other people. But when you're not in a space that's happy, then you certainly, sometimes you neglect a lot of things. And that's why self-love needs to be very, very consistent as you go on. And when you have good energy within your body and your mind, you'll be in a much better state to achieve what you want. Now in level 1, because this is foundation level, we suggest that you work on the first 2 forms, which are self-love and love for family. And then in level 2, you continue to work on the next one, which is love for country. And then from level 3 onwards, your goal would be the last 2 forms, of course, while you maintain the first 3. If you've already practiced these forms of love before you come into energy, then that is great. Try to elevate it to a higher level. So remember that we'll be working on self-love and love for family for now. So we just talk about self-love and why it is necessary for us to do so. So now let's talk a little bit about love for family. So we know that other than, have a healthy diet, other than taking care of ourselves, we also need to have composure. We need to be in a balanced state for our mind, for our body, and put ourselves in what we call the +1 - 1 frequency, much like our heart rate resting at 60 to 80 beats per minute. That is, you're in a very calm state, and you can connect and receive energy most effectively when you're in the +1 - 1 frequency. And we'll talk about this frequency a little bit later. So this energy will then support the cells in your body, which is as necessary as keeping your belly full every day, or just like the oxygen that you breathe, the water that keeps you hydrated. And, without it, without supporting the cells, we won't be able to function properly. And that's the issues that we have seen, within a lot of us in our society. So once you understand the importance of this energy for the cells in your body, you will voluntarily prioritize and maximize energy practice, because energy helps to nourish the cells when you practice daily. And after you finish level 1, you have a formula to heal your family members, to give healing support to your family member. And additionally, you will learn to connect your family in better ways. Okay, so I repeat that again, is that you use this energy in many different ways to support your family. One, it could be that you give healing support to them. Okay, and that is for the most part, that's one of the most visible outcome that they can then see. They can then decide for themselves whether they want to come in and learn this method for themselves or not. And also, when you put love and morality at heart, what you do is that the way that you interact with your family could be very different as well. You interact with them in a more loving and calm way, and that would help to bond. That helps you guys to bond together in a much better way. Now, if you already feel very happy at home, that is really great for you. Congratulations. But for many, many people out there, a lot of them feel like home, it's not really home. But it's just merely a place that they live in, that shelter them. But there's no warmth, there's no meaning to be with the people in their family. And so that is certainly something to work on.
So the point is to regulate yourself. So NLG as a method, because the core of it is love and morality, it helps you to regulate yourself. And you see that your behavior has to change. And it should change so that you can connect better. And so it's about changing yourself without asking other people to change themselves. So it's about us, the way that we work within ourselves, which will inspire other good things to come. It would attract other good things to come. Because certainly what goes around comes around. When you do something negative, then, you know, that is just the law of the universe, which many of us, I guess, we have experienced that before. And that's something that we cannot change or affect. The only things that we can change is ourselves. And if you want to have good things, to meet good people, to have great opportunities, then you need to show kindness. You need to show love first. You start with yourself, that is self-love, and then you extend that love to your family because they're the closest to you. And you just have great opportunity to take care of your loved ones. And also because there's a really interesting connection between family members, and Mr. Lee will go into depth about this in high class level. And of course, it's really logic that you need to do well first. You need to know about love first, so that you can then, you know, show it to your family. And then from there, you extend that love to others. And as you, you know, just imagine that if you plant the seed of good values to, you know, grow a really great, healthy tree, then, you know, later on, you'll grow into a massive tree full of goodness. And only when you're a good person that you can attract good people and good things, because like attracts like. Say if you want an apple and you enjoy the sweetness of it, but you plant a lemon tree, then that wouldn't work, because that's two totally very, very different things. And sometimes you interpret the things that you do to others as insignificant. That's minor, that it doesn't matter, and people are just getting sensitive. But remember that what goes around comes around, and perhaps you have to deal with a lot more issues in the future than you might think, you know, after you cause trouble for other people. But remember that when you come into NLG, the outer space civilization, he will guide you on this journey. They are very, very precise. They're very fair about the things that we do. And that's why you often hear Mr. Lee say that we cannot cheat, we cannot get away with things that we do, even when we think that no one knows about it. So what you say, what you do, what you decide on, everything, that's totally up to you, meaning that is a choice. And because it's a choice, you can certainly select it very carefully before you do something, before you say something to other people. Just remember that there's always responsibility and karmic consequences. For example, if you can't, for example, of course you can't really control whether it's a rainy or a sunny day. And certainly in the same manner, you can't control whether something happened or how other people behave. But what you can change is your perspective, your thoughts and your behaviors when you encounter these things. So let's say that it's a rainy day. Then are you going to just sit there and do nothing, or are you going to still make the most out of it? Because you know, that's totally up to you. And when you're faced with something that's totally out of your control, what you can change is your attitude, the ways that you look at that thing. If you're upset, then you just, you know, the entire experience will be filled with that. And that's just really, really depressing. It's really distressing for you and perhaps for the people around you as well. And also, when you're in that state, you need to ask yourself whether you're doing self-love right. Whether, you know, when you let your emotion get the better of you, is that self-love? You let yourself become very angry and you achieve nothing out of it, then is that self-love? So you see how it connects back to these core values that we're interested in, for us to get it right at the very start, so that we can connect to the energy source. And certainly take all of this information in. And I'd like for you to consider, even after we finish this class, to really consider these points. Okay, so I mentioned about the +1 -1 frequency earlier. So the +1 -1 frequency is of an energy participant is the same as the creator's love. Our creator continuously sharing this loving energy with all of us. To receive this energy, you need to have enough wisdom to understand 3 ends, neither bad nor good, neither happy nor sad, neither love nor hatred. It all depends on your way of looking at things. Leave your personal preferences and personal emotion to embark on this soul journey of love. So imagine, in more simple language, as I mentioned earlier, the +1 -1 frequency, it's basically like the favorite frequency for the cells in your body. Because the cells get to connect and receive the energy source from outer space realization when we regulate ourselves to be in this frequency. And that's also when you can practice most effectively, when you're in this frequency. And if you're not, then you can just sit there and try to practice as instructed, but you won't get 100% of the energy, because your connection, in other words, your frequency, it's far from that of the +1 -1. And the +1 -1 is a concept that can be formed through a flow of thoughts, our state of self-regulation. It's something that you can create for yourself through the practice of the 5 forms of love and moral values. So you see how they all connect to one another. And believe me that we are all capable of achieving the +1 -1 frequency. The reason why we can get to this frequency through love is because the state of love equals harmony, composure, and peace. And if you don't have love, then even if you receive the energy activation, the outcome could be very limited. Now, it is not to say that we can't be upset or can't be excited or can't be happy, because emotions, of course, that's part of us. That's how we experience life. That's part of how we experience life. But let's say that, for example, when you're in +1 -1 frequency, let's say all of a sudden you get upset. Before, when you don't know about this frequency, you can get upset for days and days. But now that you learn energy, you understand the benefits of this +1 -1 frequency. Then what you do is, once you get upset, when you get sad, you learn to regulate yourself back to this frequency straight away. And for that, you'll learn to maintain your composure more effectively, and you'll be more willing to remain calm, and you'll be more willing to let go of negative things. And because you realize that it's more valuable to be in a frequency to connect to the energy source rather than being upset. So when you're angry, depressed, etc., you would know that it's not great for your body, it's not great for your mind, meaning that you're not considerate of yourself or the cells in your body, which breaches the very first forms of love, which is self-love. So you see how all of these connect to one another, and they all comes back to love and morality. So when you have time, try to sit down and think about this question. So in a day, other than when you're asleep, how many hours can you maintain yourself in a +1 -1 frequency? For example, you're now in class and there are no reason for you to get upset or angry. But when there are, then trying to ask how and why. Because it could be that sometimes we have technical issues or we have audio issues. And in the past, there has been, participants who were quite unhappy with what's going on. So, when anything happened, and that's just an example, that's quite relevant to a lot of people. So when those things happen, how do you feel and how would you react? And would you be able to maintain the +1, -1 frequency? And so just ask yourself those questions. I don't want to give any examples that are irrelevant to everyone. And so try to just get one that seems most realistic. And you can say that, I'm very calm all the time. But when there's an obstacles, when there's an issues and something unexpected happen, your reaction then is what counts. So when you see someone being mean to another person, take that lesson and please don't repeat it, because you can see how people are put into very challenging scenarios, very uncomfortable. So try to learn to empathize with that and don't repeat it. And certainly, don't put other people in similar situation, because it's just simply not a great things to do. And certainly don't normalize those behaviors. And, when you want to give feedback, you can do so positively without hurting other people's feeling or make them feel less than. So those are some of the things that you can think about. Now, it's also really important when you come into this method that you practice consistently. And there are techniques as to the practice duration, of course. So I like to use this example, this comparison really. So we know that it takes about 21 days for an egg to hatch into a chick. Now, that's the same thing when you practice NLG, is that you need to get into a certain point in order for you to feel that change. And for many of you, it is when you are activated. Many people feel a little tense at their forehead, maybe a mild headache, but that would just go away after you keep practicing. So in this example, if the mother hen doesn't give her full 21 days, then the egg cannot hatch into a chick. So that points to the consistency of your practice with this NLG energy method. That is, the practice should be done on a daily basis. So you practice based on how the formulas instruct you to, and the formulas we made it very, very clear. And make sure that you go through all the notes. You should practice accurately, adequately, and consistently. So, for example, if you read the notes and the formula instructs you to open your eyes while you practice, please do so. If it tells you to practice for 5 minutes and 30 seconds, please do so. The formulas that we share with you have been practiced by many NLG participants, and they've achieved really, really amazing outcomes. They are carefully written and standardized according to the method of NLG, according to our energy founder. So maybe you come in and you're asked, why is it that we need to practice for 5 minutes and 30 seconds? Well, that is the set time that our energy founder, Mr. Lay, has studied and decided on. It's like asking, why does this phone operates on iOS and then the other phone operates on Android? Well, because that's how they're programmed, and that's how we would go with it. Okay, so basically we have gone through quite a bit of information for today. I would suggest that if you need to, you can always go back to this video to revise it. So now we have about, I think we have about half an hour. So let's get straight into the activation. So we have more time for me to explain how you receive the activation, as well as we will practice a formula together. And then I can give you some more notes. But before that, I would like to send you healing energy. Okay. Now, if you're new here, then this healing energy, this is just an extra thing. Okay, this is just a bonus energy transmission for you. This is not an activation. An energy transmission versus an activations is very, very different. So now I would like to send you the healing energy transmission. And this is very similar to what, if you've been following NLG, this is very similar to Mr. Lay's healing energy transmission session. So what you do, and sorry, so for the condition is that you haven't received any healing transmission in the past 6 hours. Then you can receive this healing session from me. And what you do is you look into my forehead. I'll stop sharing screen, sorry, so that you can actually see me. So for this healing energy transmission, what you do is that you look into my forehead and you imagine energy going from my forehead into yours 3 times, and then you let that energy absorb and flow throughout your body. Visualize and deliberately recite in your head that you wish to receive this healing energy. And this is only effective in real time, of course. That is when this video is live. And if you decide to rewatch this video later for revision, then just go on and skip this part. Okay, so this will be the healing energy transmission. This is a bonus, everyone. This is not the actual activation. We'll do the activation after this one. Okay, so I hope that everyone is ready. So what I'll do is I'll close my eyes, of course, and then you just open your eyes, you look into my forehead, and you imagine, you visualize energy going from my forehead into yours, and then 3 times, and then let it just absorb and flow throughout your body. Okay. All right, so let's get started. And I'll put the timer to 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And when I open my eyes and when I tell you that it is done, then you know it is finished. Okay, but otherwise, when you can still see that I have my eyes closed, then just go on and continue to receive the healing energy. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so we have just finished the healing energy. So now I will help to activate your brain cell. But before that, I'd like to show you a demonstration video so that you know exactly how to do it. Let me just share screen here. Okay, so for the brain cell activation, this is how you will imagine energy coming in. So it's 1, 2, 3, just like that. And you continue to visualize energy going from my forehead, going into your forehead, and you keep it at the brain here. And that should be continuous. Okay. Okay, so I hope that that is clear. So what happened is you look at my forehead, you visualize energy from my forehead going into your brain continuously, much like the video that I showed you just now, until I tell you that time is up. The activation will be 1 minute and 30 seconds. I will set a timer for that. And this is the brain cell activation for level 1 participant. Those who are in high class level, please just look away for now. You can listen to the content, but please do not receive this activation if you're already in level 2, 3, or 4, or 5. Okay, so I just set my timer. Okay, so let's get started, everyone. This is basically the thing that everyone has been looking for. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so we have finished with the activation. And now we will practice the brain cell activation formula together so that you understand how it is done. And with this brain cell activation formula, we will only practice this formula for today, that is prior to session 2. And then once we started with session 2, which is tomorrow, we will no longer practice these brain cell activation. Okay, I'll put it up on the screen so that I can show you. And so basically you have this formula to practice for today. And I'll show you the Telegram group's QR code later on, and that's where I will post these formula onto that Telegram group so that you can have it. So that for those of you who want to practice, you don't need to take a screenshot or anything. And so basically this formula, you can practice this from 1 to 3 times on your own. So from today all the way until tomorrow, And then after tomorrow, which is session 2, we will no longer use this formula. You can practice these consecutively, or maybe you want to practice this a few hours apart. Either way, it's fine. Trying to sit somewhere that you feel calm and focus. If you're distracted for more than 30 seconds, please start again. Don't sit right in front of a fan or an aircon, because you might not feel the warmth of the energy very clearly, because you have air blowing right at you. And that could also be very distracting with the noise. Also, you can blink. I know that 5 minutes and 30 seconds, it's quite a long time. So you can blink. And during the practice, if you cough or you sneeze, then just continue on. That doesn't matter. Now, participants who are unwell, you can sit down or you can lie down, depending on your state of health. So basically, any position that makes you comfortable to practice the formula, you can certainly do that. So early on, when you receive the activation, if you feel that your forehead is a little tense, then there's the techniques that helps you to alleviate that. So what you do is you breathe in for 3 seconds, and then you breathe out for 6 seconds. So you breathe in through the nose, and then you breathe out through the mouth, and you do that 3 times. Same thing after we practice this formula together. When you practice, and you need to make sure that you open your eyes, and you follow the formulas. You can read the formulas, of course, and you can practice according to your age, which is specifies right here. For example, people above 18 years old will practice for 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And just so we are also clear on the ERC, that is short for Energy Reception Center, which is at the back of your neck. And when you practice, you recite the step in your head, meaning that you read it silently in your head. There's no need to say it out loud, because remember that we direct the energy through our thoughts. Okay, so what you do here, so we'll go through these together. So in step 1, you will recite silently in your head, receive cosmic divine light, new era, energy level 1 frequency band, brain cell activation frequency. And then you move on to step 2, receive energy into the brain, receive first time, second time, third time, and you will have 3 to 5 seconds in between these reception. Step 3, send energy from the brain into the ERC, send first time, second time, third time. Once again, you leave 3 to 5 seconds in between each of these times. And then in step 4, continuously direct energy into the brain and transmit it into the ERC. So continuously direct energy into the brain like that. So you see the little arrow here, and then transmit it into the ERC like that. Let the warmth of energy spread on its own until alarm rings. So what happened is we will practice this formula together in class today, and I will turn on an instructional audio for you, and from there I'll guide you throughout this step as well. So you listen to this audio, and then you recite the instruction in your head as you listen to the audio. Okay. All right, so let's practice this formula together, everyone. I will leave this formula on the screen so that you can look at it, so you can read. And I will also now show you this audio, instructional audio. Okay, and I'll turn my video off so you can see this better. All right, so let's get started, everyone. This is practice session to receive Cosmic Divine Light New Era NLG Level 1 frequency band, brain cell activation frequency, for those who are above 18 years old. The timer will be set to 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Let's begin.
Step 1. Recite silently once. Receive Cosmic Divine Light New Era, NOG Level 1 Frequency Band, Brain Cell Activation Frequency. Step 2. Receive energy into the brain 3 times. Receive first time. Receive second time. Receive third time. Step 3. Send energy from the brain into the ERC 3 times. Send first time. Send second time. Send third time. Step 4. Continuously direct energy into the brain and transmit it into the ERC. Let the warmth of energy spread on its own until alarm rings. Okay, everyone. So we have just completed the brain cell frequency formula together. And so remember that when you go home today, well, when you leave this class today, remember to practice this formula from 1 to 3 times. It's up to you. And really, this formula is to help you to feel that energy. This is just a initial homework, so that you can feel that energy, you can experience it for yourself. And then tomorrow, when we go into session 2, we will no longer use this formula. Okay, so I will now show you the QR code. Well, I just explain a little bit further some of the notes here for you, but I will put this on the screen so that you can start scanning them. So you see that we have a notification channel, and then we have a level 1 and 2 English channel. That's when you receive the announcements, post, and then we have a group chat as well. And in the group chat, the one in the middle here, that's where you can actually ask question. And I will certainly post the formula on there so that you can have a look and you have a proper copy of it. All right, so we have finished for today's content for today's class. Just wondering if anyone here have any question. I will spend the last 5 minutes waiting for your question to come in. So you can scan the QR code and you can put in your question in the chat box of this live stream. And also, now that you started with NLG, you can still receive healing energy from Mr. Lei. So it doesn't matter which class level that you're at, you can still receive energy from him. You can matter which class level that you're at. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so just trying to look for question, if there's any. Now, when you practice this formula, if you feel sleepy or you feel extremely warm or even hot, then that indicates that you're lacking in energy. So what you can do is you can just keep practicing, and as you keep practicing, that those symptoms, those issues, will just gradually settle down, and after a while you won't feel sleepy anymore. Okay, and it could be that when you first practice you feel really hot, you feel really warm at your spine. That is okay. As you keep practicing, you will also notice that it will turn into a more comfortable warmness, or when your health is in a much better state, you could even feel that it's a more of a cooling sensation. And remember that if you haven't registered for this class, then after you finish today's session, you can always go onto our Facebook page to register, and that is completely fine. Okay, so I don't see any question here for now. So I guess that everyone is very clear about the things that you need to do, which is great. And I guess that at this time, it would be, when we're live at this time, it will be much better for people in Europe. So I hope that those of you who's in Europe and who has been, waiting for this level 1, then hopefully that you're all here to attend it. Okay, so I guess that because we don't have any questions, so just a little bit of a summary. So today I introduce you to NLG Energy. That is a practice-based method helping you to flourish in all aspects of life. To use this energy, you need to have energy connection, which you can get there when you regulate yourself to the +1 -1 frequency. Now, this frequency is embedded in your everyday practice of the 5 forms of love and moral values.
through the way that you behave, the ways that you treat one another, the way that you treat yourself. So build a strong understanding of these elements in this foundation level in order to move forward to enable greater miracles. Okay, so I think that because I don't see any question here, so I guess I'll just leave everyone to practice the formula for today. And then tomorrow when you come in for the second session, then you can tell me about your experience. And remember that you do need to attend the second sessions because level 1 consists of 2 sessions and it's necessary to attend both to receive both activation because there are different types of activation. And only after you receive 2 activations of level 1 that you're able to use the formula set. Okay, so I think that I will wrap this up now. Thank you everyone for participating. On behalf of all the participants here today, I'd like to say thank you to our energy founder, Mr. Phúc Lê. A huge thank you to those working behind the scene to make this program work. And of course, thank you everyone for your ongoing support, for your love, and for your participation in today's class. And I'll see you tomorrow in the second session of level 1. Great. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will certainly post the formula on our Telegram group. So make sure that you join our Telegram groups and practice the formula before tomorrow's class. All right then. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.